Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. I just found out that the house that I'm living in, that I'm renting right now, is covered in mold and I have to move. So I thought it would be a great idea to make another video on the pros and cons of what it would look like purchasing a house right now. And I'm gonna apply this to my own situation. If you're wondering what happened to me, why I have to move, what's going on with the mold, essentially, you guys know I'm renting, I'm on the sideline right now, working on my purchasing power, and the house I'm renting had some type of foundation issues, and those foundation issues actually led to plumbing issues. And those plumbing issues, apparently the landlord didn't fix because apparently there's massive leaks in the house and there's mold behind the walls throughout my house. So my children are sick, I've been getting headaches, things are getting very difficult. And I gotta tell you guys again, I had to search my heart and soul and ask myself, what am I doing right now by renting? Is it the smart thing to do? And don't forget, I already made an offer about 3 days ago because the house had wedge, about $95,000 in wedge, and it cash flowed about $600 per month. But you guys already know that. I had to go back to the basics and really, again, just contemplate, what the heck am I doing? Am I endangering my children? Am I selfish for waiting on the sidelines? What is going on? Now to boot, the crazy thing is I found this out while I was shark fishing. You guys can kind of see behind me, there's my truck. That's why I have that rack on top. It's to have those fishing poles on there so that the line goes way out without touching the water. There's a lot of debris in that water. You can see my buddy over there. I'm gonna go walk over here. But basically guys, I kind of pinned it down to, as far as pros and cons, what's gonna happen if you buy right now, to 9 different disadvantages. And then I also figured out what are the 4 advantages of owning real estate. And don't forget y'all, I've been bullish on the housing market almost my entire life. I mean, I'm a loan officer and a realtor, and usually home values just go up. So how could I not be bullish on the housing market? I mean, seriously guys, it's only for the last 2.5 years, little less than 2.5 years, that have actually been bearish. So this is all new to me. And during the GFC, remember, I got blindsided. I didn't see that one coming. But I'm gonna start with, again, the disadvantages of owning right now. Now, last time I was out here, I'm gonna walk over here. Last time I was out here, I stirred up probably 7-foot rattlesnake, maybe about, I don't know, looked like 4 or 5 inches thick, super scary, but it is so cool back here. This is where I come, guys, to wind down and escape. This is like what I do if I'm not working. If I'm not working, I'm fishing. Obviously, always spending time with my family. But let's start with the first thing, guys. So the number one thing, disadvantage if you purchase a house right now, is you lose your purchasing power for the most part. That is to say that most people lose their purchasing power for the most part, because most people could only afford just one home. And by losing your purchasing power, that means that when we do have our price correction, nationwide crash in prices, that means you can't play. So think about that, because I have to as well. If you buy a house right now, home values go down 30%. Say you're fine, you're not gonna have a foreclosure, you're still happy you purchased, everything is great. Remember, you can't play. There's a possibility that you can't get a house 30–40% discounted because, again, your debt to income ratio and your qualifying factors, your purchasing power overall, is shot because you just purchased an overpriced house. So again, think about it. Number one thing is your purchasing power is gone. And if it's not gone, it's severely crippled. Again, just depends who you are. I'm talking to most people, especially first-time home buyers. Now, the number 2 thing, guys, and don't forget this is probably the most important thing, is you're locked in to a high payment. You know, odds are, not in every situation, I'm out there working hard to find great deals, but odds are, if you buy now, you're gonna be locked into the high payment and high price of a house. Odds are, if we go into recession and we have a whole bunch of unemployment, odds are price values are gonna go down at the same time as interest rates going down. So imagine buying a house when prices and interest rates are going up, and if you would have just waited a year, maybe 2 years, you could have purchased a house when the values are going down and the interest rates are going down. So again, the number 2 thing is you're locking yourself into the higher interest rates and the higher purchase price of these houses. So that's not a good thing. Makes it very hard to sell, makes it very hard to refinance. Probably can only do those things if you pay. And obviously, you guys, it's Texas. I'm working hard fishing. These are huge fish. It's really hard. I'm looking at all that gear behind me. So it's hot and I'm gonna sweat. I'm sorry, but I'm working hard. Now the number 3 thing, guys, and this really sucks. If you buy right now, odds are you're gonna have no equity growth for a substantial time. So again, even if you're okay, even if all things are good, just anticipate no gains in equity, which again leads me back to the fact that if you do want to refinance into a lower interest rate, or you do have to sell, it's possible that you would actually have to pay for that. Pay to refinance out of pocket and pay to sell. And that's not cheap. It could be 10, 20, 30, 40,000. Just depends how much your value of your house goes down. Now the 4th thing, we talked about this, you can't refinance and you can't sell. Odds are, again, if equity, even if equity doesn't go down, say it goes sideways, the way that amortization schedules work, you barely pay off any of your loan for the first 5 to 10 years. So you're really in a situation to where you have no equity and the cost to sell can be 6 to 8%. And that's 6% to agents, about 2% in closing costs. So it's very, very expensive to do those things. You won't have the equity more than likely, so you kind of don't have the ability to sell and you don't have the ability to refinance. Now again, if you've been following me and you're looking at real estate wisely, then you're looking for wedge, looking for cash flow, which would reduce all of the things that I'm talking about. But I'm generalizing. Most people are purchasing real estate without knowing or even understanding what wedge is or what cash flow is. You guys, I feel like a mess right now. My hair's a mess. I mean, that's how it is when I'm out here fishing. I mean, it's the wild, wild west. I got surrounded by 3 coyotes the other night. I mean, that was exhilarating. I felt like I've been surrounded by realtors, by like 20 realtors, so the coyotes were no problem for me. Now, number 5, guys, and this is a big one as well, anxiety and stress of having nowhere to go. If you know you're locked in, you're gonna have some anxiety, you're gonna have some stress, and that's not good for you and your family. Let me show you guys real quick my setup for shark fishing. You guys see that? Now those are giant reels right there. Okay, so I have those reels. I deploy in the kayak right there. A lot of times at night. He's got his Sea-Doo, here's there. Look at that. It's absolutely gorgeous out there, isn't it? I mean, I love it, I love it. And here's the thing, guys, I'm not locked in. I'm free to move around and do whatever I want because I'm renting, but I still have stress and anxiety, and that's not good. And that's, again, that's why I'm here. I love doing things like this. I mean, it's super good for the soul. Let's keep going. Now, number 6, and this is what happened to me during the great financial crisis, going into foreclosure and ruining your finances. Even if you don't go into foreclosure, if you're struggling to make your payment, if you lose your job because of recession, you're gonna have a late payment. That late payment is gonna destroy your credit. If your credit goes down, not to mention you lose your job, your purchasing power is shot. So that potential to go into foreclosure, that risk to go into foreclosure, and again, being that we're not gonna have massive equity increases, it's there. So you're gonna have that risk. And a lot of people just kind of weigh it to risk. Hey, honey. You guys see that? I accidentally just called my wife. She's like, hey, honey. It's like, hey, I'm filming. That was crazy. I love you, Shara. Now, again, losing it to foreclosure or financial ruin. And then number 7, as compared to renting, you don't get fixed payments anymore. When you're an owner, you have adjustable payments, not only just the maintenance, you can have roof problems, water damage, water leaks, foundation issues and cracking that need to be addressed, which cost thousands of dollars, HVAC or AC, you can have so much going on, but also a variable expense is your property taxes, guys, and your homeowner's insurance. When you're renting, again, not only am I free to do whatever I want, my payment is fixed. If I have an issue with my house, I can call my landlord, and in fact, that's what we did. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I know we gotta get out of there. It's not worth living in some mold house and having my children there. Again, the issue here is being rushed to make a decision to rent to buy. Obviously, I wanna buy, but I'm not gonna rush that. I'm only gonna buy with solid fundamentals, something that I love, something that has wedge, cash flow, something that's gonna make me rich in the future. Either way, you guys have covered 8 and 9. 8 being construction costs, hitting costs, like I said, foundation, HVAC, roof, and obviously, number 9, homeowner's insurance and property tax. I mean, in other words, you guys, you're on the hook for a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. For some people, millions of dollars. So you got to take that process seriously. But again, you guys, I've been bullish on real estate my whole life. I'm a realtor loan officer. I absolutely love real estate. It's just right now, it's just a very toxic, very, very bad time to buy for multiple reasons. Not just the interest rates, people get lost in that, not just the payments, but most importantly, the prices. Now, let me go into the 4 things that I've kind of highlighted, which are advantages, in my opinion, of purchasing real estate right now. The number 1 thing, guys, and don't discredit this, I'm telling you, the pride of ownership, okay? The pride of ownership is a real thing. The emotion is a real thing. Again, that's why I'm so cautious with people on how they're purchasing real estate. When my wife and I put an offer in, the house that we put an offer in, it had green carpet. It was built in the 1970s. But we were excited about it because we were gonna fix that up together as a family. I mean, you know, my wife and I, we're a team, we're a partnership, and you know, that pride of ownership would have been nice to have. And basically what happened is you know, out of the blue, a cash buyer came in and destroyed us. It was 60 days on the market. I feel like someone's spying on me. You know, like as soon as I make another offer, like boom, it's gone off the market. Like, how is that possible? But it just started a day earlier. It's crazy. But you know what, guys? It's on to the next thing. But don't discredit that. The pride of ownership is a real thing. I do not like that. That's probably the thing I hate most about renting, is I have no pride of ownership. I don't want to put a single penny into that house. I don't own it. But if I owned it, obviously I would be putting my time, attention, and effort into it. So the pride of ownership, that's a really, really important thing normally. Now the second thing, and this really hurt me this year, okay? I'm not a CPA, consult a CPA, but you get that tax deductible interest. My hair's a mess. I apologize, guys. It's grimy out here. I mean, it's oh my gosh, there's a boat that's about 100 yards off the shore. Hopefully he doesn't run over our lines. And hopefully I get a fish so I can show you. But the tax deductible interest is important to me in my household because usually I can exceed the standard deduction and I pay less taxes. Because I was renting this year, and even though I'm self-employed and there's a portion of the rent I can claim, small portion, even though I could do that, it still hurt me because I was not able, and this sucks, I was not able to break the standard deduction. And so my tax liability this year was brutal, and I wasn't, you know, it hit me kind of by surprise. I had the money, so I paid it, but it hurt my purchasing power because, you know, it was probably more than double what I thought I'd owed. So again, consult a CPA, but there's pretty substantial tax benefits as far as the interest. I want you guys to remember that, especially if you've never owned a house before. Again, consult the CPA, look up some YouTube videos, but there are some pretty juicy tax benefits. Now, number 3 is arguable, all right? And that's the biggest problem with today's market, okay? But generally, in a normal market, number 3 is future equity appreciation. And actually, that's true right now. The problem is you may have to wait a decade to get future appreciation because of the cycle that we're in. I mean, we still are in the cycle that people just have no idea about. I mean, we haven't really even had price discovery. Yes, in Texas, yes, in new home builds, yes, you know, scattered throughout the nation, but there are some people that are still completely blind. But you guys, normally, you know, future price appreciation is great because technically you can use that money to invest if you want to be self-employed or you want to use that money to make money, things like that. But again, right now, with these new homeowners, they just don't have that. You know, I'm really scared for the young kids that are homeowners right now because, I mean, what are they going to do? They got, you know, they're going to be going bankrupt. They're going to have foreclosures. You know, the same thing happened to me when I was in my 20s. So, I mean, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It just really sucks. And really at this point in my life, being especially that I have a family and children, it's risk versus reward. And I don't want to take over the world. I just want a balanced life. I want my children to be safe and happy and my wife to be safe and happy and healthy. And the same for me. That's it. We don't want to take over the world. We just want to be balanced, to be quite frank. Now, the last thing, guys, and the 4th thing, and listen to what I'm saying, okay? And let me know whether or not you agree. But generally, when you look at the statistics, when you retire, if you own just 3 homes, you retire a millionaire. My goal, and I don't expect to live till I'm retirement age because of my genetic disorder, my goal is to own a home for every one of my children. And by doing so, if I make it to retirement age, I would be a millionaire. I only own one property. I'm not saying own 100 properties. I'm not saying any of that. But what I am saying is statistically, if you own 3 properties, by the time you retire, you're set. And we have to think about that. We have to consider those things. Now, the problem with the housing market is a multi-level problem. Obviously the Fed, the low interest rates, the reckless spending, media, but a huge thing also, guys, is the data manipulation, the MLS manipulation, the new highs, the median, the price grouping. There is so much data manipulation right now. I mean, I feel so sorry for people. I mean, they don't know what to do. You know, it's just like the rich have already taken over the media, and normal people, they don't know where to go to get honest information to form an opinion. I mean, it's taken over. Do you guys disagree with me? I mean, the narratives out there, I mean, think about it. In mainstream media, why are there no solid, bearish narratives of caution, warning? I mean, there's not a lot. And the reason it is, and this is statistical, you don't make money. I mean, seriously, guys, they're like, the fact that you want to help the people on the bottom, they don't care about you, Travis. They're going to get their house, they're going to walk away, and they're not going to remember you. So they're like, who cares about them? And I'm like, you know what? I hear you, but, you know, when you help people, you kind of got to ask for nothing in return. And so I'll tell you what my future has in store for me as far as what I'm going to do with the channel and the community. I mean, I'm going to always help the people on the bottom. I'm going to be doing the schools, more classes. We're going to bring the community together and stronger together. We have a Discord. We have Teachable. The problem is right now, you guys, is it's just very difficult for me to maintain because I'm not a rich person. So I got to rent an office. I got to do those types of things to get it set up. Think about the 90% of buyer's remorse, and then think about all the people on the sidelines that have anxiety. I mean, why do they have anxiety? Why are they in a rush? I mean, seriously, do they want to join the list of people with buyer's regret? I don't think so. And really put it in perspective. There's about 8, 9 things right now that is wrong with buying a house, with only a handful that is potentially good. And I say this, guys, in conclusion, I say this, all right? Yeah, it's a bummer. Not everyone wants to do it, but have patience. I have to have patience. And I have to decide, guys, here's the thing. Here's why it's so hard for me with the mold house situation. I don't want to start another 1-year lease in the middle of June. Because when I have to renew or when it's time to buy in the middle of June, it's a buyer's market. It's horrible. But nevertheless, it's the safety of my family. Let me know what you think I should do. If I can find a house to buy with solid wedge and solid cash flow, I will. But I think, guys, you know, and I am able to find that, but it is rare. Don't hold your breath. Okay, I'm not saying that's everywhere. It's very difficult. It took me a very long time to find these types of deals and properties, and I still haven't got one accepted. I'm gonna rent. I'm gonna remain patient. I'm gonna keep my purchasing power intact. I'm gonna keep trying to stay balanced by taking trips like this, guys, and I'm gonna keep trying to help people and asking for nothing in return. Now, know your decision to buy real estate is important, and having patience is a necessity. The longer you have patience, generally the bigger you will win. So just remember that, guys. Don't be rushing in, buying an overpriced house. Now, other than that, I'm gonna get back to fishing, you guys. I appreciate you letting me do this video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, you guys already know I wish you luck, and I hope you win.